Hello and welcome to West Country Wanderings. Welcome to another one of my canal series. This is a short update video in my Cotswold Canal series, Stroudwater and Thames and Severn canals. It's not a full update today, but it's an open day courtesy of the National Lottery. Got my Eventbrite ticket in my pocket because a special event at Court Orchard Lock. Well, it's now called Dock Lock, although I think it should revert to Court Orchard because obviously the dock is long closed and long filled in, and obviously we've been able to change other lock names here on the Stroudwater. So yes, I'm in Gloucestershire. This is Stroudwater Canal. We're going to have a look at the Dock Lock stroke Court Orchard Lock open day here on the Stroudwater Canal in Gloucestershire. I'm really excited to see this because I missed the event the other day in Devizes, didn't I? I booked my ticket there, but the weather was just awful. So I never got to see that one on the Kennet and Avon Canal there in Wiltshire. But hopefully today, fingers crossed, we'll be able to get and have a look at this tour, interesting lock and all the work that's taken place recently at this location near the village of Eastington in Gloucestershire. Now behind me here is Blunder Lock, and this section here going that way towards the direction of the ocean has been cleared recently. Lots of the trees have been cut back, not cut down, but some of the branches have been cleared up and tidied on both sides of the towpath. There's some clearance work has been done here, and you have these great picnic tables, although unfortunately at this location here the canal runs parallel to the A419, which is the main connection road to the M5 at junction 13 there. But other than that though, it is beautiful, especially on a mid-March sunny day like it is today here in Gloucestershire.
Pretty much what the name suggests. We make things in metal, we repair things, that sort of thing. So the chaps here are quite skilled at bending and welding and all that sort of thing. We're actually going through a period of reorganisation here at the moment. And that's two people sitting here. We actually, of the 26 to 36 people, which I mentioned earlier, about a dozen stay here, and they're spread around. As we go around, you'll realise where the dozen are. All the others are split into teams.
These are the ground paddles. So they're the paddles that are on the upstream side of the lock, in the lock wall itself, whereas on the downstream side you'd have gate paddles. They'd be in the actual gates themselves. So what we've been doing in here is making all the metal work for it. The plastic blades, as you see there, are done subcontract from a company in Cam, but all the metal work we make ourselves. So this is the fixed part. So this will bolt to the lock wall with a variety of holes there, because obviously you don't know what the lock wall is going to be like, or where the joints are, or where the good stone is. So you've got a selection of holes there to find something firm to bolt it to. That gets clamped to the lock wall with some wooden framework as well, but the actual paddle itself, so this is the stationary part, so that's the hole that the water will flow through, and that one is the moving part, which will rise up and down as you wind a mechanism like this on the floor here. The rack and pinion type thing will connect onto, get it around the right way, Rick? This end, the rack and pinion will connect to, and this shaft is they're all different lengths, because locks are different depths, and you know they're all bespoke made. So these are made oversized, and they'll be cut on site, and then remachined with the holes to take these plates to clamp to it, to pick up on this part of the moving gate. So as you wind the rack and pinion up, that con rod pulls the gate up, which is against there, lets the water through, and everything works okay, hopefully.
So is that a complete seal when it's closed, or there's a bit
it is very good, yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got the water pressure against it, which makes it seal. I mean, in the old days, these were just wood, you know, so they rotted away for a past time, they seeped and leaked, and the joints and the cracks and whatnot. So I guess this is the first time we've used a composite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For this rather than wood.
That sheet there, that's £300 a piece.
What is the material again, please?
It's a type of plastic. Don't ask me what type.
It's just a
There's
plastic.
lots of numbers and letters after it. That's all I know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So for example, these parts here, they come to us as a blank bent piece of metal like that. So it's formed by a subcontractor because we don't have the equipment to do that here. So then one of my jobs is to machine all the holes and slots and whatnot, and then finally it gets galvanised, and that's the finished component.
Seriously heavy, isn't it?
So
That's
what timber is it, Rick?
That's Eki. I think is it Indonesian?
Greenhold.
Green. Is it Indonesian?
No, it comes from Central America.
Central America. There you go.
Greenhold.
In what I call the inside, you see huge horizontal pieces of wood, and they can crack and all sorts of things. So we can repair them, make things up here. As I say, we put these benches together, and they're all memorial type benches. So people pay us to provide a bench in a certain place and put plaques on it, stuff like that. But there's lots and lots of things. They're never short of work in here. Mind you, they're never short of work in any of the departments. This is white diesel. There's 960 litres, I think, going from memory in there. We get through one of those in about 3 weeks. The red diesel over there, which we don't use that much. It's all, as I say, it's all for work boats. We probably get through one of those in 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. You're talking about in round figures 1,000 litres in these. Holes for fence posts, and mow with it. It depends what the tool is you put on the end. Just like a bit like a farmer's tractor, really. Just the tool you put on the end of it.
So this section here from Pipe Bridge, that's Pipe Bridge there, which takes the road into the heart of the village, is right next to Western Depot, which is here, which is the main depot, one of 2 depots that the Cotswold Canals Trust have to do the restoration of the Thames and Severn, and here, of course, the Stroudwater. Now, this section here, it's really exciting. I've only briefly shown it before, but 3 months ago, this whole section was put into water there, and it looks absolutely magnificent. In fact, it's the first section of the Stroudwater to go into water since the work was done, the restoration through Ebley and Stroud. What that's about 12-14 years ago. So to have this in water here is absolutely brilliant, and it's a good marker for what's going to become the other side of John Robinson Lock, and then down on the new section that is known as the Missing Mile. We'll talk some more about that. So now got Court Orchard Stroke Dock Lock behind me here, and you can see the work that's taken place on this since the last time we were here. Was it about 2 or 3 months ago? A lot of work, and it's great to see this whole section in water. Not only the bit between there and Pipe Bridge Pipe Lock, but this section here all the way down to John Robinson Lock as it heads its way along there through what will be the heart of the restoration work to restore the missing mile here on the Stroudwater Canal.
1776, the plan was approved by Parliament, no less. And there's 5 locks. The one you've been to, which was originally called Westfield Lock, it's now called John Robinson Lock. Dock Lock, which is where we're standing. Pipe Lock is the next one up. Then you've got Blunder Lock, and then Newtown Lock. And that's the series of 5 locks. So that was approved, and then the engineer, whose name was Edmund Lingard, didn't like that plan, so he moved it. What can you say? So there's 5 locks, and the Albury Brook, which you've seen, I think Reg's explained down there what was going on down there about Albury Brook. But what happened there, the original plan was that the brook was going to go underneath. But Mr. Lingard, got his right name, he's not here to defend himself, by the way, decided to go over the top, which then set the position of where that lock had to be. And then the next lock up there, Pike Lock, which you probably walked past when you drove in here, that set the level of that lock because they didn't want to bypass the road. So subsequently that level was set and that level was set, which meant that these 2 then had to be fixed to meet what was going on down at those other 2.
So here is the spoil tip and all the stuff that's been, well, basically pulled out from the edging of the canal and from the depths of the canal itself to clear it and get water back into it again. So huge amounts of work been going on here. So let's just spin you around down towards John Robinson Lock, which is down there, previously known as Westfield Lock, of course. So just looking through, the fence have been erected here at the moment for obviously the work that's taking place, but it's not just taking place on the lock there itself and beyond it down to the M5, but also to build an aqueduct over at the Oldbury Brook, which lies just in front of the lock there. See if we can get a shot of that. So this temporary bridge has been put in place here across the Oldbury Brook. I'll just turn you around now to show you where the line of the new aqueduct will be. Aqueduct will be there. So on the left there you can see the fencing, which is the out bit of John Robinson Stroke Westfield Lock. And the aqueduct will be there, where my finger is. And construction on that, I believe, will start this summer with the Waterways Recovery Group taking part in that. So they've already done some prep work here with the diggers in place, another digger over there. So huge amounts of work has been taking place in this area since I was last here, probably about 3 months ago. So yeah, just at the end of last year I think it was, but vast amount of works here, which is exciting to see, isn't it? And I will bring you a full update on number 18 to show you what's been happening around the wider picture on the Cotswold Canals in the next month or so. But pleasure to show you what's been happening here near the village of Eastington in Gloucestershire.
So we've got temporary damming on the brook, and you can see the brook's just risen to the level where the pipes are. That's to enable us to divert the water from there into the canal and then on down through the overflow across to the river frame over there. That's very much a temporary fix. Originally we believed that the brook fed into the canal directly, but when they built the motorway it all got filled in and had to be sorted out from there. So now it's got to go under the canal, because apparently we're not allowed to put it back into the canal like it was initially due to environmental concerns. If you get pollution in there, you get pollution in here, or if you get pollution in there, the other way around. So we're trying to keep them separate. So what we had to do is build the dam to raise that level, sink the 3 pipes in there, and you can, if you look very closely on the surface, you can see the water flowing through. Assuming that some of that will come back here and be compacted back in to make that new base, but at the moment that's just my assumption.
So this is the start of the missing mile then?
Missing mile
You probably said and I missed it.
Other side of the bridge.
Oh, the other side?
Yeah, so
right.
if you go up on the bridge and look to your left, you'll see the canal starts to bend that way, and there's that's roughly where the missing mile will start, and it'll head off across the fields and eventually appear by Frome Bridge. We blocked it with 99p footballs. The idea being, you have to release that water quick. We get down there with a knife, stab the football, and the water runs that way. So that brook runs down into the River Frome. So it runs down through the trees, round the back of the industrial estate, and it comes back into the Frome. So if it's come down,
So they're going to blow it up. And that's why we've still got this Bridge Heritage Bridge. And there's still a link. There's still a link today, because where you park your car in that field, we call it Prentice's Field, because this lady's daughter is Mrs. Prentice. So we've still got that link to the saving of this bridge through her daughter. Yeah.
So these walls are actually new now, are they, or were they
Rebuilt. They still existed there, but not in as good a condition you see it now.
Right, yeah.
So they've recovered and replaced what you can't see is there's a bypass pipe about 3 metres in that grass. They actually built a bypass, so all locks have a bypass, and they built it the way they originally built it, i.e. with bricks. We wouldn't do that today, we get dirty very big plastic pipe or something. But we had to do this because it's heritage, we had to follow different rules. So that's that. Unfortunately, we were brought to a halt quite a while ago now, because this is private land. We are negotiating with the owner to buy access to it, whatever. So the negotiations are taking perhaps a little bit longer than we would like, but they are coming along. And as soon as we get permission, then we'll come back, finish that lock. There, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right. So that line of trees there, leading up to where the lorries are going past, is Frome, the River Frome. So what we were, I believe, and Will might correct me on this, I believe that it actually used to go more straight across there. We come with agreement with the landowner, so he didn't cut his land in half, because we would go right over that way. So his land is not broken by us. So between us and that tractor, about halfway.
So we're now looking in the direction of the M5. That's the new football pitches there for Forest Green Rovers, and this will be the line. In fact, it'll be turning left here, so that's the direction of the M5. The canal will be swinging left to go down towards the River Frome, and then of course it'll be going underneath the M5 using the River Frome's bridge underneath the M5. But that's all work ahead. Back to the present though, this is the situation here at John Robinson Lock. So lots of work's been taking place here now, and the lock is, well, I wouldn't say it's nearly completed, but it's not far off. It's not far off in terms of the brickwork, and considering this was completely buried, what was it, some 2 or 3 years ago now. None of this was above ground. You couldn't see any of this lock here, and of course it was in a very, very poor state with brickwork, and it's had to be built from scratch, and now it's back in water again. And there you can see just before the digger where the new aqueduct across the Oldbury Brook will be. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tour here of Western Depot and the inside of Dock Lock. That was really exciting, kind of privileged access to see that here on the Stroudwater in Gloucestershire on this wonderful mid-March morning. I'd like to thank all of the volunteers on the Cotswold Canals Trust and the volunteers of the Water Waste Recovery Group, as well as the ones that work for Stroudwater Council Volunteers, because they were doing part of the towpath there today, resurfacing that, following by Western Depot, and it was great to have a tour of that depot. I'd loved seeing all the workshops there, and I do apologise I couldn't do it as one consecutive filmed presentation because it will be a little bit bitty. I do realise that. Number of reasons for that. Sound was poor in places because obviously the presenter sometimes talking to answer somebody's question, and also when you're doing those sort of things you need to get permission for the entire group if it's okay to film them. We had the CCT photography there, and he did actually ask, and there was a couple of people that they didn't want to appear on camera in terms of photographs and magazines, or indeed here on YouTube, so it made it difficult getting the right angles sometimes, so I apologise for that. But I hope it gave you a flavour of Western Depot on the Cotswold Canals Trust. They have an Eastern Depot as well, which I did feature the outside of on one of my updates, and I know this is 17B, this interim one, looking at the inside of Dock Lock and it all being watered now, but there will be a much fuller one giving you an overview of everything that's been happening on the Cotswold Canals Trust in about just over a month's time, so look out for that, probably early May, somewhere around there. Now the site manager and one of the volunteers, they did actually say that this is probably going to be the most exciting year on the Cotswold Canals Trust here in 2025 in terms of lots of big developments. They're hoping to get that aqueduct complete over the Oldbury Brook there at John Robinson Lock. So that'll be an interesting development to see that, and I'll bring you interim updates as we go on that, and obviously when it's completed you'll be seeing that here on West Country Wanderings as well. So that was really exciting, and all the hard work that's been going into Dock Lock at the moment as well. Absolutely fascinating work that goes on behind the scenes there. I hope you enjoyed it today. Hope to see you on the channel again very, very soon. That's it for now. Take care. All the best. Bye-bye.